Not always good to go on video when you need a shave and a haircut, but in my defence, I've been away for a week and I've gone and blooming left it all behind, so I need to go out and get some more. Anyway, moving on. So this is about COPPA, and this is my interpretation of the COPPA rules in my own layman's terms. This is the way I'm understanding it in my head, and so these are the moves that we are going to make as a channel to deal with the issues surrounding COPPA as we interpret them. Bear in mind that this is a complete blooming minefield, and it's going to be hard enough for anybody to get their head around it. However, you interpret it the way you see fit, and some of you might need to get solicitors involved, etc. Pardon me, I'm interpreting it the way that I see it, and I'm going to run with that. So first of all, come the 20th of January, thousands upon thousands of YouTube videos, content, and even channels can be deleted. According to the rules and the small print and all of the stuff that nobody really reads, they have the powers to start deleting content and start deleting videos and even deleting channels. And I think where that's going to start from is that will start with what you can essentially class as a computerized drone. So let's imagine that there's what's going to happen is that I reckon they'll start with the channels that have done nothing. So, you know, the word's getting out now, come the 20th of January, everything's got to be changed on your channel. Lots of stuff has got to be changed on your channel. Whether it's children compliant and all the rest of it, and I'll come to all of that. But where I think that they will start deleting channels is when channels, their algorithms and software will act almost like a computerized drone, and it will be searching out and searching out and searching out. And anybody that hasn't changed the settings and say something is adult and it should be children, if nobody's even logged into that account, probably in months or a year or whatever, they're going to be the first targets. That's where the drones are going to strike first, and they'll just delete the content and delete the channel. So I imagine that's where it will start, but it can lead to any of us having all sorts of problems with the content on our channel and whether or not we should be labelled as children's viewing, adults viewing, where we should. So back as far as 1998, there was a Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, which is otherwise known as COPPA. This is as far back as 1998, and it's taken all of this time for all of this to actually come to fruition and something be done about the issue. And the issue centres around essentially, and again, trying to put things in layman's terms, you know, because I like to try and understand it in my own brain. It centres around algorithms and advertising and what might be classed as widgets and what's the other one? Cookies. The most famous one is cookies. So, you know, we all accept cookies, and these cookies, they remember the website address. They'll allow you to remember passwords and credit card numbers and your home address. So you don't have to type all this stuff in and all that all the time. And they also track what it is that you're watching. So if you're looking at buying a men's t-shirt like this, you know, the algorithms and all of that, the back computerization, if you like, of Google and all the rest of it, they knows that I'm interested in this kind of shirt, what kind of price I pay and all the rest of it, and it will target ads to me because of that. That's what these cookies and algorithms do. They all work out each other, and if you notice, you know, so many times nowadays, ads are targeted at us individually. Well, of course, the cookies themselves, they can't distinguish between a child and an adult. And this COPPA, Children Online Protection and all of that, it's all about, centred around advertising being slung at kids. And what they're trying to do is stop the advertising being slung at kids, which a lot of us would agree, yeah, quite rightly so, you know, fed up with our kids being advertised at left, right and centre. So the kids then come screaming to us and want us to buy the next whatever item. However, where that has a knock-on effect to a lot of us, certainly in the coin community, is that if your channel or your content is for children, then there'll no longer be any comments. You won't be able any comments in your video. There'll no longer be a community post section. You won't be able to use your super chat. because a super chat is a comment and you won't be allowed to do any comments because the comments will be switched off. So you won't be able to earn any money out of the super chat. You won't be able to earn any money out of the advertising. So people that have child orientated content and their content is aimed at children, well, that just means that you can still carry on doing that content, but you're not going to be able to make a living out of it anymore. And this is where the knock-on effects of these COPPA rules will sort of come down and down and down and down the line and affect, you know, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of creators. That's what we're called, creators, the people that put stuff on our YouTube channel. It's going to affect us all. And people that earn money out of children-orientated stuff, that means that you're not going to earn money out of it anymore. Now, the reason all this was designed, all this rules and law and everything was designed, is because the algorithms, the spiders behind the scenes, the cookies, and all these things. Well, when you're putting your name and address and your birthday in and all the rest of it and all your personal details, they're all remembering this and they're all picking up on this. So it was designed to, you know, kids are putting in their details, their name, their age, what they like, what they don't like, the music, and so on. That makes it easy for predators to be able to get hold of them. So all of this really started with trying to stop predators being able to get hold of kids. That's where it really came from. And like I say, the knock-on effects are going to be huge. So put in a nutshell, again, it means that the whole idea is to stop any companies, not just YouTube, but any companies, collecting personal details of children without the absolute firm and express consent of the adults. You need the permission of the adults in order to collect the data and the information from the children. I mean, it turns out that the biggest threat to our children, everybody's children, on the internet, it's not from essentially them putting in the information, because a lot of as one lawyer said on YouTube, a lot of 6-year-olds didn't even know their address or their full address and postcode and that kind of thing. So the biggest threat to the children is the fact that these cookies exist and collect the data automatically, non-stop. Every second of the day, 24 hours a day, these cookies are collecting and storing that data. And it's that is the danger. I mean, on the one hand, we love cookies because the cookies make our life easier. They make remembering all of the different things we want to do online a whole lot easier. But it's the actual cookies that seem to be a danger to the kids. So in 2013, they changed the act to make it illegal and stop anybody, any company from using any of the cookies that might have been made by children under the age of 13 years old. And remember, a lot of all this comes from the FTC, which is in America. Thing is, a lot of what happens over there, especially as far as American sites, and YouTube is an American site, that's going to have a knock-on effect to us over here. So, round about the same time, 2013, sort of YouTube pretty much exploded when it came to kids' content. And an awful lot of people started making an awful lot of money out of kids' content. And YouTube decided to just ignore all the rules and continue targeting the ads and making money out of the adverts, which is where a lot of this has come from. So essentially, what YouTube did was not only did they ignore all of that, but any time they were questioned about it from the FTC or for any of those bodies over there, they essentially said, "Oh, hang on a minute, you know, we're a YouTube, we're a kids channel, this is all about kids, etc., etc. Those rules don't apply to us." And for 6 years, they essentially bought it, and on it's gone, and on it's gone, and on it's gone, and on it's gone. I think it's somewhere in the region of about, in 2016, somewhere in the region of about 70% of kids aged between 8 and 11 were using YouTube regularly on a weekly basis, daily and weekly basis. I mean, it's huge for YouTube. And that's something like 87% of 12-year-olds as well were essentially spending most of their free time watching YouTube. In 2018, there were 20 child advocacy groups, children's organisations, that kind of thing, for the welfare of children, that all got together and as a whole made a complaint to the American FTC regarding what was going on with the children's content, and they accused YouTube of lying. YouTube was saying that their platform was just for kids 13 years and older, and the child advocacy groups were saying that it's not. And so that complaint went through. They also argued that there was millions and millions and millions of content on YouTube aimed at under 13 years old, children under the age of 13. And remember, it's the children under the age of 13 and the use of cookies, etc., that is essentially illegal. Using the cookies of what they do on the computer, and also the fact they shouldn't be on there in the first place. And not only did they argue that there was millions of content on there aimed at kids under the age of 13, but that YouTube actively went after that content essentially, and did their best to get as much of that content on their channel as possible. And of course that goes against what's supposed to be the rules, which is, you shouldn't have content on there for children under the age of 13, because children under the age of 13 shouldn't be on there in the first place. And they also argued that YouTube's algorithms and behind the scenes software and spiders and all the rest of it were geared towards funneling through the content that was aimed at under 13s, and that they were doing basically their absolute best to attract not only content for under 13s, but also to attract under 13s onto the site watching the content. So this is where it starts getting a little bit messy now for people like us, right? Just ordinary creators. So the advocacy group, probably quite rightly too, argued that everything that was going on was a blatant disregard and a violation of the 2013 amendments with the FTC. And so they argued that YouTube should be completely barred from putting on any children's content. So then, faced with political pressure and pressure from the advocacy groups that were bringing all this attention, the FTC eventually made a complaint against YouTube and essentially sued them for $42,500 per complaint. So whether that means per video or not, I don't know, but per complaint. And they're wanting to YouTube to be barred forever for putting on any kind of content aimed at children under the age of 13 years old. And that's where it's going to start getting messy. So now we come forward now to 2019, and in the suit that they had, civil suit or whatever suit it was, YouTube agreed to pay $170 million. So I don't know how many videos that is. Divide that by 42,500, and that's probably how many different violations that they got sued for to start with, I suppose. And also it means that they've got to change the way that they've done things. They've got to change. YouTube's going to change forever now, because they've also got to get rid of and not allow any content aimed at children under the age of 13. Now that is massive. I mean, there's some kid in Japan somewhere reported to be the top earner on YouTube with $27 million that he earned last year, and all he does is open his presence on YouTube, but gone, that money gone overnight, just like that, boom. So how many, not hundreds of millions, how many billions of billions or trillions of trillions of income for millions of people all over the world, all of a sudden, poof, gone. YouTube admit they've been fined and that they've been sued and they've paid a hefty amount, and that it's what it's for, the transfer of data from the cookies and all the rest of it, all this stuff that they shouldn't really have access to for the under 13s. So this is going to make a huge difference and a huge knock-on effect to everybody else. The issue is that, and for a lot of people, is that YouTube themselves are quite sketchy about what it is that we all have to do or not have to do. It sounds like they're making it simple when you watch the YouTube's videos themselves, where they've done videos, and I've seen that. And they try and it sounds so simple, but it isn't necessarily that simple. So now we all have to mark our content. There's going to be new things appearing. So when in the settings, and then there'll be something there to mark your content, whether it's adult or whether it's children. And that's what you've got to do. And you've got to make sure you mark the content right. Because another problem is what constitutes children. You know, now put in layman's terms in an English format, we all know programs like Blue Peter, for instance. You know, if you've got a presenter on Blue Peter or a regular daily or bi-daily children's program that is really, really successful, then the person presenting that program is going to have a face that's associated with children under the age of whatever. So then that person could not be used I could not employ that person to do an advert for me for stuff for over 18 that I want to put out as an advert, or a YouTube that I want to get paid on for advertising. I can't do that if this person has got a face that children under the age of 13 recognise. So you could it's even going to go like as far as that, depending. You know, once you draw these lines, it's like, well, okay, we've drawn a line, and you know, and then everything up to that line is okay, and everything over that line is not okay. And then once you start doing that kind of thing, it goes into all sorts of areas and all sorts of domino effects to all sorts of businesses and one thing and another. So this is what we've all got to do. We've all got to get our house in order. We've all got to mark our videos, whether they're children's content or whether they're adults content, basically. Sorry, me moving around. I'm sorry for the fact I haven't had a shave, but I've got to go out and buy a new after leaving it behind. Anyway, so there you are. That's a rough idea. I don't profess to know everything about the COPPA rules, and I certainly don't profess to translate and understand the entire lot. But in layman's terms, that's what I'm understanding. And for the coin tubing community, well, it makes a difference if it's considered that your content now is aimed at under age 13s, then you won't be able to earn any revenue on it. For us, I mean, I'm relying on the fact that I wasn't using YouTube to earn a living anyway. If we earn revenue from YouTube, that's just a bonus because we're a retailer. And at the same time, because we're a retailer, it shouldn't apply to us because we don't have customers under the age of 13. So all of our content is geared towards over 13s. And in fact, all of our content is geared towards over 16s. And that's because unless you're 16 years old, as far as I'm aware, you can't have a debit card. You can have a prepaid card that mum and dad can give you, yes, but you can't have your own debit card and therefore be in control of your own money until you're 16 years old. That's how I understand our law. So as far as I'm concerned, all of our content is aimed at people over the age of 16. But for hobbyists and collectors that do coin tubing videos, that might make a difference, because if your content is aimed at or considered to be aimed at children, even if it's not aimed at children, even if you've got swear words in your content, if YouTube come along and say that's aimed at children, it's coming off and you'll no longer get any revenue, and you could end up getting fined, and you could end up losing your channel. All of these things can happen. There's a lot of scaremongering going on. Absolutely, there's a lot of scaremongering going on. Am I getting fazed by it? No, because it's different for me, I guess, because we set our channel up slightly different. Our channel didn't come about through coin tubing, as it were. It came about through giving updates. So I think we're safe. I think we're okay there, but I do think we're going to have to go through some work and check all of our videos. That's going to take a long, long time. And I mean, if anybody sees any of our content, you know, give us a while, but give us a couple of weeks. But if anybody sees any of our content that doesn't say whether it's children or over 18, then let us know, because I think we need to put over 16 on every video. And if there's adult content, over 18, like we did start doing. Anyway, that's just my interpretation of what's going on with COPPA and how it's going to affect us in the UK. It's going to affect us big time. As a group of people in the UK, it's going to affect an awful lot of people. So now you've got a little bit more information that makes you understand it in layman's terms. And from there, you can just do your own searching, and knowing that information the way I've put it, that might help you disseminate or dissimulate or whatever the bloody word is, all of these long words that you hear and you're trying to go, what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, now you've got a bit of basics, and this is all I'm giving you is the basics. Once you've got a bit of basics, you can crack on and now figure out the rules for yourself. All right. I hope this has been handy for you. If it has, wallop the like button, and why not subscribe? We appreciate every subscriber. Thank you.